Hello everyone, this is JD Calderon, and this is Indie Comics Explained, and it is that time of the month. The latest issues of preview showed up, and it's issue number 372, September 2019. Yeah, so this is for books coming out in November 2019. So on the cover we got John Constantine, and we have an ad here for Doc Frankenstein. We have some books coming out from Dynamite. Kiss Zombies, not necessarily my cup of tea. That was my cat running by. We have Vampirella, Black Terror, The Boys Omnibus number 5, which is cool. I'll probably be picking that up. So yeah, for those of you who don't know, the previews is a catalog that comes out every month from Diamond Comics Distribution, and basically shows you everything that's going to come out for the month of November. So one of these comes out every month. It comes out a couple months in advance of the month that the books are going to come out, and this is basically everything that they have to offer. This is pretty much everything that's coming out through the mainstream. You also have, but you know, there's still a lot of us guys, and I mean myself included, who come out through Kickstarter and other various forms. But Diamond is the big distributor. At the moment, they're the only distributor at the moment. There was a time when it was 13 or 14 of them, but we're stuck with one, for better or for worse. But they put out this massive catalog every month, and it has basically all the stuff that's going to be coming out. The one good thing is that, I'll show you right here, this is the Marvel catalog, and this is the DC catalog. Now, I spared everyone. I'm into indie comics. I don't normally... I go through these just out of curiosity. There are some books I do read from them. From this, I think I saw one Star Wars book. I'm reading Dr. Aphra. I'll probably pick up the latest in issue 6. There might be one book from Donny Cates I might pick up. But that was about it. I don't pick up the monthlies anymore. I only pick up trades, and those are only 2 trades that I saw in there. And this one, I think I saw... They have the Swamp Thing Omnibus Volume 2 coming out. And that's probably the only thing I'll order from DC, because it's the only thing that I'm really interested in. It's right here. And that's not to say that DC and Marvel, they offer a lot of great stuff. There are a lot of great artists, a lot of great writers. It's just not necessarily my passion anymore. My passion is indie comics. Okay, here's a nice interview with Stan Sakai. Awesome Stan Sakai, Usagi Yojimbo. There's a shout out for Ragnarok and Black Hammer, and something called Canty, which I haven't picked up yet. Skip over. And basically, you would use this catalog to let your retailer know what it is you want to pick up, to put in your pull list for the month of November. So, alright. This is pretty much just all ad stuff. We're getting into the nuts and bolts of the actual catalog. And this is Image Comics, which is the 3rd largest publisher in the industry. I think they comprise about 10%, sometimes 11%, sometimes it goes on to 9% of the industry. They tend to produce really good work. I mean, you have Jeff Lemire here, Family Tree. I won't pick up this issue, but I will pick up the trade when it comes out. So that is something. But it looks, you know, it's Jeff Lemire. He's as solid gets as far as writers are concerned. Undiscovered Country No. 1 by Charles Soule and Scott Schneider. This sounds like a very interesting series. So again, when the trade comes out, I'll probably be taking a look at it. Heart Attack. This one I've never heard of. Looks interesting. You know, I mean, it's a wait and see. Philadelphia, Rodney Barnes. Okay, another one. Nice art. That's one good thing, is that Image tends to give you a few preview pages of just about everything that's coming out that's new. So Olympia #1. Kurt Pyers and Tony Pyers. Alex Diato is the artist. Yeah. Okay. Looks like a type of story is deconstructing some kind of myth and legend, and this boy is probably gonna inherit the power or something. But I mean, but it could be good. It's all in the execution. Brian Azzarello, Moonshine. Not really my cup of tea. Excellence. Everybody says this is actually. I'll be picking this one up. This is the first trade paperback. Carrie Randolph is awesome. Brandon Thomas, I don't know of his work, but I know Carrie is an excellent artist, so I'll be picking that up. Alright. This one's probably a maybe. This is an original graphic novel, so I might actually pick that up. Might give it a shot. It's like one of those things, once in a while you just have to take a punt, as they say. You just have to, just give it a shot. Brian Hill. Postal, that's a maybe. I have to look into that one a little further. Section 0, number 1, I'll definitely be picking this up. This looks like a lot of fun. I remember I think they came out like early 90s or mid 90s. A few issues of it came out, and I enjoyed it then. They didn't get very far, but I think this time they backed it through Kickstarter, and they got some additional funding. They need to finish it, so I'll probably be picking that up. Sharky the Bounty Hunter, Mark Miller and Simon Bianchi. Mark Miller is usually about an 80%, 75% hit for me, so he runs on a good track record. There's some of his things that I've read I don't like, and then there's some stuff I really enjoy. So, but Simon Bianchi, excellent artist, so there's no reason not to get it. By Chance Providence, Descender, the deluxe edition. Oh yeah, I have this entire series in softcover, so I'm not gonna be bothering to pick up that. I already did a review on Die Number 1. That was an awesome book. Man Eaters, not necessarily my cup of tea. Middle West Volume 2, number 1 was very good, so I'll be picking that up. Outpost Zero, never got just never looked into it. I mean, it's one of those things that maybe one day I'll look into it. The Realm, I have the first 2 volumes of this, so this I enjoyed a lot, so I'll be getting this book. Redneck Volume 4 by Donnie Cates. Vampires, I like Donnie's stuff, but I don't know. It's one of those things. Maybe if they compile it all into one thing, maybe I'll pick it up at one point. Sunstone. I think it's Stephen Sejic. I'm pretty sure I'm mutilating his name, but just never got into it. So I don't know. It's one of those maybe types of books. And The Warning. Never heard anything about it, so can't get everything. There's a lot of books, and this is getting into the main catalog. Copra, Ed Brubaker's stuff is always solid. I enjoyed Die, so I'm looking forward to the second volume of that. Hit Girl, Greg Rucka's Lazarus, actually a very good series. I've been enjoying these. So I'm just waiting for the next trade to come out. Yeah, again, a bunch of good books. I'm sure that a lot of them are really good. Just, like I said, you can't get everything. It's unfortunately. Sonata, this is one I think I'll probably be picking up when it comes out in trade. And Warren Ellis's Trees. I have the first 2 volumes. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Okay, now we're moving on to Dark Horse. So we have ElfQuest, awesome book from back in the day. It's nice to see Wendy Pini is still going on. Wendy and Richard. Very nice artwork. I think there's an omnibus edition of the very first, I don't know, probably 20 issues of this. And it's funny because I was never a big fan of her work. They released her stuff, I think it was Starblaze Graphics, many years ago, and it was in color. I wasn't really too enamored with it, but when I finally got to see it in the omnibus edition in black and white, I'm like, wow, this stuff looks incredible. Her pen and ink stuff is just incredible. It's a fun story, so if it's the sort of thing you like, that sort of fantasy adventure, you might want to check that out. Hands-on Cha-Cha Christmas Special, yeah, I guess this is from Umbrella Academy. Watched the TV show, enjoyed it a lot. I have the comics, I just don't remember them. It's been a long time since I've read them. Probably should pull them out again and give them another shot. Black Hammer. I get all the trades of this series. Is Jeff Lemire. Awesome stuff. So it's something I'm going to keep collecting as they come out. And he has a crossover with Black Hammer and Justice League. I'm pretty sure this is how they got him to agree to write a series for them at DC. I'm pretty sure that he announced at some point that he would not be doing any more work for any, hired or paid work. Like, he'd only just be working on his own stuff. Pretty sure he had released that statement a while ago, but he is working on something for DC, and I think it's probably in trade for doing this series. Jeff Lemire's, awesome writer. Witchfinder. I ordered an omnibus of that. Well, hopefully it's going to be good. Chrome. That looks interesting. Grendel, Devil's Odyssey. I'm looking forward to this when the omnibus comes out. American Gods. Looking forward to the final volume of this. I have volumes 1 and 2, so I'm just looking forward. There's just the last volume to get, then we'll be done with it. But I'm looking forward to it. Ether by Matt Kint. A lot of fun. I have the first 2 volumes. Looking forward to the third one. Count Crowley. We'll see. Strayed Triage. Yeah, it looks like Dark Horse always puts a lot of interesting looking books. Tommy Gun Wizards. That's something I might pick up when it comes out. Trout. I'll probably get this. This is an interesting book. Troy Nixie. Stuff is crazy looking. Yeah, so that's probably something. Facts from Sarajevo. This is a reprint. I actually have the original. Came out years and years ago. It's an excellent book. Joe Kubert. Very sad. I have some more stuff here. Aliens, if you're into that sort of Tomb Raider. This is the Witcher Omnibus trade paperback. I'm pretty sure I ordered the hardcover, so still waiting on that to come out. What's Michael Fat Cat collection? Okay, so this is all some manga that Dark Horse releases over here. Daenerys statue. This is the rough thing with DC, and then this is IDW. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Something I was not really into back in the day. I remember when they first came out. It's actually the catalyst reason that I got into publishing comics myself. Usagi Yojimbo, and that's kind of funny with Walter Simonson. I guess his Stan Sakai has Walter Simonson's version of Thor in it, which is kind of cool. It's actually pretty funny. Ragnarok. I have the first 2 volumes of this, and I'm looking forward to this one. It's the 3rd volume, so it's going to be really cool to get. Kanto. I'll wait till the trade paperback when that comes out. I'll probably be picking that up. Star Trek. Like I said, I'm not really into the licensed properties, so I usually don't even look at them. Rising Sun. Like I said, G.I. Joe, Dungeons and Dragons. If you enjoy that sort of thing, great. Jim Zub, writing Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, Jim is a really good writer, so. Ron. It's a fun book. In a Day, Transformers. My Little Ponies. If you're into My Little Ponies. It's funny because they release these books. I imagine they're for kids, but the price point is $5, which is kind of funny because it's really expensive for a little kid. You just have one comic for $5, and it's a 36-page book. All right, and here are the Marvel books that IDW is handling, as well as some Star Wars books. And they have some Disney stuff. So it looks like they have a good relationship with Disney. Napoleon Dynamite. Like the movie, don't know why this is coming out. Cobra Kai, never watched it. Watched the original Karate Kid movies, those were enjoyable, but why they have that. The Crow. I like the original series. From Hell by Alan Moore and Eddie Campbell. I have the original, I guess it would be an omnibus, but it was a full trade of this, and it was actually very good. It was very interesting. Alright, then we have Walter Simonson's Thor Artisan Edition. The only problem I have with these is they're huge and they're hard to store, so I have some, but they just take up an entire shelf, so sometimes I don't know if it's worth it to have them. Dynamite, company who just as eclectic as it gets. You got Kiss, Zombies. Yeah. What's this? Red Rising Volume 2. You have Black Terror. It's an old 50s character that's basically copyright free, so anybody could really use them, so I guess they picked them up. Betty Page. Licensed, I'm sure, from her estate. Chastity from the original Chaos comics. Eagle Ernie and all those. Devil, another character that's copyright free that pretty much anybody can write. Red Sonja. Vampirella. Vampirella Dawn. It's a nice statue of Dawn. Joe Linsner. More Vampirella. The Boys Omnibus number 5. Oh, wait a second. I skipped a page. It was just more Vampirella. Boys Omnibus number 5. I'll be picking that up. Oh. I have trading cards. I'm not going to bother with it. A $2 bill. Interesting. Okay. And they have James Bond. A $6 Million Man. Okay. Now we're going to move on to Boom. The Magicians number 1 of 5. By Lila Sturgis and Lev Grossman. I'll probably be giving this one a shot when it comes out in trade, obviously. I reviewed the Alice's story, The Magicians. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was a different look on the story. So hopefully this is a new class in Breakbill, so hopefully it'll be interesting. But I mean, Lila Sturgis is an excellent writer. Lev Grossman is the originator of the series, so you know, I'm looking forward to this. This should be interesting. Folklords, Matt Kint. Okay. Like I said, another one. When the trade comes out or the hardcover, I'll probably be picking those up. BB Free. That looks interesting. Heartbeat number 1. So it looks like Boom is coming out with a nice amount of indie books. Hellmouth. This is all Buffy stuff. I enjoyed the series. Some of the books were okay, but I mean, too much of it. Like I said, the licensed stuff I'm not really into. I'm currently reading the first volume of Ronan Island. Having mixed feelings at the moment, but I haven't finished reading it, so hopefully it'll come out strong at the end of it. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Never got into it. Alright, dude, like I said, more interesting looking indie stuff from Boom. Yep. Looking forward to the series that's coming out on Netflix in a couple of days. Jim Henson's Dark Crystal, The Age of Resistance. Gunner King Court. I know Gunner Krig Court. This was a series that I've seen online for years. I just never got into it. So, but it always looks interesting. So, who knows? Maybe one day. And like I said, some more interesting looking stuff. Rocco's Vinyl Art, Vinyl Life. Now we're going to move into the pure indie section of the book. Basically, the front of the catalog is any publisher that is they have more than 2% of the market. They get put in the front of the catalog. They get special priority. But everybody in the back is just everybody that's left. So this is a new company called Ablaze. And I'd heard of this. Conan has fallen into public domain. But Conan, the title, has been trademarked. So they can't use it. Or at least I think they're afraid to use it. So they're using the Sumerian. But these books were produced in Europe. And they're going to be releasing them out here under the Sumerian title. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out in comparison to the stuff that Marvel is doing. And it's going to be interesting to see as the years go on, as the later volumes in the series start to come into the public domain, and how that's going to be handled, because these are basically based on a lot of the earlier works, so by Robert E. Howard. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. Vampire Steeple. I guess this is something else. What was that? Yeah. I mean, you know, Yeah, Dave Sim doing Vark Wars. He's just been parodying everything. It's unfortunate he's not drawing these days. I would have liked to have seen more original artwork, more original stories from him, but it seems his hand is still it's not working well enough to draw. And we have Absolute Comics, and it's a company whose books I've never picked up. I mean, I might have one or two of them, but it's just something I just never seen anything that really struck me as something to get. But it looks like they're coming out strong. Wayward Sons, Wayward Legends. Okay. Terry Moore's a perennial favorite of mine. 5 years. Hopefully when the trade of that it comes out, I'll definitely be picking that up. I always pick up his omnibuses. I always enjoy those. I prefer reading his work as one piece rather than individual issues, but that's just my preference. That's just been my preference for the last few years. This is Action Lab Entertainment. Like I said, this book I might actually pick up. Adventures of Finder's Edge of Empire when it comes out in trade. So yes, I am a trade raider. I look through this catalog just looking to buy trades. Oh look, Mr. Beaver #1 is coming out from Action Lab. I've been watching this guy's artwork for years on DeviantArt. Zombie Tramp. I'm if you're into that sort of thing. And now we're into Aftershock. Dark Red. Like I said, Dark Arc, never got into it. Animosity. Not my thing. Baby Teeth, good series by Donny Cates. Looking forward. Oh, Volume 3. So yeah, I'll definitely be picking that up. Nice Temporal Rough Riders. This one is a maybe. You know, it's like I said, once in a while, this is the complete series in hardcover, so that's definitely a maybe. That looks kind of interesting. I know Patrick Adam Glasses is a good writer. Opposite each. Yeah, like I said, unfortunately, you know, the budget isn't endless. This was a very good book, The Wrong Earth, Tom Pryor, with art by Jamal Igle. I've known Jamal for many years. Great artist. I really, really enjoyed this book. So if there was definitely something you wanted to get that was indie and fun and an alternative take on superheroes, this would be your book. I guess they released that they're doing it because of this. I might actually pick that up because I think it's a one-shot. So if it's a one-shot, I might actually get it instead of waiting. Then we have Albatross Funny Books, The Goon. Alright, good stuff. Alterna Comics, these guys produce books that are $1.50. It's usually hard to not get a good book out of them for that price. I mean, $1.50, you could probably buy the entire line for under $10. You know, I mean, obviously, except for the trades, which they're putting out, like, you know, but they're only like $10 each. So they're inexpensive, and they tend to do quality stuff. I might actually pick this one up, the Feast or Famine trade. What is this? American Mythology. Yeah, just a very weird little company that puts out some weird stuff. It's just, again, it's just all over the place. Laurel and Hardy, Casper's Friendly Ghost. And it's just strange that you just see some of these books. What is it? Laurel and Hardy, which looks like a kid's book, but yeah, they have limited edition variants for $10. I don't know. The way some of these things, some of the thought process behind some of these books is just crazy. Zorro. Okay. I mean, it's a fun character, but yeah, I guess this has never been to my taste. An American Gothic Press, Monster World Golden Age. Amigo Comics, I picked up some of their stuff. Some of this stuff I tend to find interesting, so once in a while I'll dip in and buy some of their stuff. Cave Woman, this guy has been doing this stuff forever. Amulet Books. Oh, okay. And this is Antarctic Press, Gold Digger. with Fred Perry, the hardest working man that nobody's ever heard of in comics. The guy's produced, I mean, look, this is up to 271. The guy done it all on his own. I mean, that is a lot of work. Give that guy a lot of credit. Not necessarily my cup of tea as far as the content, but you know, I respect the guy. I respect his work ethic. I mean, that is a lot of work that he's put into that. We have Rags, Jungle Comics. All right, we're moving on to some other stuff. Archie. You know, some of the newer stuff is okay, but it's never been my cup of tea as far as Archie. The same thing with Aspen Comics. I think I've only ever picked up like one series from them, and like I said, not necessarily my cup of tea. And Avatar is very hit or miss, and has been very missed for me over the last few years. So, yeah, they're doing Warrior on Ariel, and the only reason they're making a big deal out of it is because they have a Netflix series coming out. This was originally owned by Ben Dunn, and for some reason he had to sell it to them. So, I mean, I think he's still getting a percentage of the series, but, you know, good for them, but it's not really stuff I'd want to pick up. Benitez Productions, Lady Mechanica. I have the first volume of this in hardcover. Very good book. I really enjoy this. Excellent artwork, and I really enjoy the story, and I'm going to be picking up the rest of the series when I get a chance. Well, Illustrated Special, Brian Boland, excellent artist. I mean, Mortal Kombat Legends, Boundless, again, the less I say, the better we'll be off. So, if you got nothing nice to say. And then this is Burly Man Entertainment. I'm surprised they're coming back out with this. This is I think the Wachowskis. They originally owned this company. I don't know if they still do. I think it's theirs, but they produced these. Doc Frankenstein with Steve Scocci. And the Matrix comics. And these were some really good high-end books. I think they came out, I don't know, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. They might even be older than that, but I remember enjoying them. And I guess they're putting out, a hardcover of the Doc Frankenstein and the Matrix. I don't know why they're choosing now, but those are maybes on my list. It depends on how I'm feeling at the moment when I'm ordering. Caliber, interesting stuff there. Cartoon Books, Bone. Jeff Smith still running strong with that. Chapter House books, Northgard Human Lizard. I actually picked up, okay, this is volume 2. I actually ordered volume 1. I hate it when that happens, when I have to order volume 2 without ever reading volume 1. I end up doing it. I'm probably going to order it because I already ordered volume 1, so I'm kind of committed. Because if it's really good, I'm going to be upset if I didn't order the second one. So, prefer if I get the first one, but sometimes you got to take a punt, and I guess that's what's happening here. 5100 for this. That looks interesting. That one, you know, that's a maybe. Have Lady Death. You know, Brian Pulido still doing his thing. It's a pity he doesn't own Evil Ernie and those characters. I think it would have been fun to. He had the entire line back, but again, he ran into some financial issues and had to liquidate his former company, which is unfortunate. IMC 3PO, Lulu, Drawn and Quarterly. These are mostly Dynamic Forces, if you want to buy, I guess, high-end collectible nonsense from Marvel and DC. EC Comics, a lot of these things are actually really good. I picked up, I guess, a bunch of reprints of these when I was a kid, and I really ended up falling in love with them. I've yet to get the large slipcase hardcovers, which is kind of funny. Now that I can afford them, I just haven't gotten them yet. So I think because I got those reprints, I'm like, I'm not in that big of a rush. So it's just weird since what happened with since Marvel and DC pulled out their sections, they've actually combined the all of the book publishing together with the comic books. So that's why you have stuff like the magazines like this, and you have Monsters and that sort of thing in here, along with the comics. And this is Fantagraphics. If you enjoy the type of books they produce, they do produce, you know, very, like, you know, Walt Kelly's Pogo. I'm pretty sure these are worth getting. Prince Valiant. I've read some of these. I saw the artwork. The artwork in this is actually incredible. And the stories are fun too. What else? Frank Zappa, Phantoms. Not really a big fan. Really a Thief. Okay. And then first, second books. These are larger book publishers releasing through Diamond. The one good thing about when the larger publishers come through Diamond, like First Second, because they're usually, I don't know who owns First Second. It's probably Dorchester or one of these much larger book publishers. But when they do, is you'll see this book. It's a 6x9, a soft cover, it's 288 pages, and it's $15. A hardcover is 280 pages, same thing, 6x9 is $21.99, and relatively cheap for the page count. And that happens because they're doing much larger print runs, because they're releasing these. Most of these get sold at libraries. I'm sure they go through these book functions, through these schools or whatever, and these books are probably expected to sell well over 50, 60,000 copies, and they probably publish in those areas. At the minimum, I would say they were at least printing at least 20,000. But these books are expected to do very well, and that's why when you get them, they are actually kind of on the cheap, less expensive side, because they're making their money back on bulk sales rather than, having to rely just on a few books being sold at a higher price. I think this is something that some people just get confused. They're like, oh, why are they so inexpensive? Because they're trying to sell them to kids, or parents of children, and the parents typically want to see that they're getting a good value. If they see, a decent sized thickness of a book and it's $15, they're like, oh, okay, that's a good deal. Sometimes I've seen them as cheap as $10. So, parents tend to, they don't mind buying stuff for their kids, but they want to see a value for their dollars. So, sometimes it's tough getting money out of people. So, that's one way to do it. Two dead grammar. Van Jensen Nepal. This one looks interesting. That's a definite maybe. Like I said, once in a while I just have to give something a try just for the heck of it. Marketplace, Graphic Universe. Assassin's Creed. Right, like, you have Hachette, which is a big publisher. Like I said, it's a little weird having the books in here. Then you have Humanoids with their line of books. I might pick this one up. 7 Lives of Alejandro Jodorowsky. He did Meta Barons, which I did a review on, and he's done a number of other things. Jodorowsky is an interesting guy. Obviously very intelligent, a little kooky, a little weird. It's a shame we don't know more of him here in America. I mean, I think he would probably be revered on the same level as Alan Moore. He's probably just as weird, but he's known for European comics. And he's also a movie director, so, and he's producing very strange films. I haven't yet to see one of them, but I keep hearing they're weird, and one day I'm going to have to go out and check them out. Alright, and then here's something from Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, Inside the Epic Return of Tuthra, hardcover. Probably an art book based on the upcoming series on Netflix, so this might actually be worth getting. And then, this is Brian Froud's The World of Dark Crystal hardcover. I actually have one of these somewhere in the house. It was actually a very good book. These are art books, by the way. Like I said, it's a little strange seeing them in this section of the book, whereas before they used to be in the back. But now they have them all together. Alright, King's Spot. Lion's Forge. Catalyst Prime 7. I mean, okay. I've enjoyed this series, The Orphans. I have the other 3 volumes, and I'll definitely be picking this one. I believe they say there's only 6 portions to this series, so I'm kind of happy that there's an end. It's always nice to see when a story does have an ending. I don't mind if it continues after that, like they have spin-offs and things, but it is nice to see when, there's an end to a story. It's one of the problems that I have with a lot of what happens at Marvel and DC. Stories just run on and on and on and on. And I mean, does Batman really need 10 comics every month? Does Spider-Man need 15? Do you need to have 80 X-Men comics? I mean, at one point, it just gets ridiculous. You just know it's just being done just to generate cash. I mean, that's not to say there aren't guys in there who are giving their heart and souls to produce that work. But, in the end, I mean, it's just another thing thrown on a pile of the same thing. It's not something unique to them, which is why I prefer indie books. These people who do them, such as myself and many others, they tend to really care about what they're doing. But that's not to say, again, that the guys at Marvel DC don't care. It's just I just sometimes feel that it does feel a little soulless at times. Okay. This is Oni. Rick and Morty. Vader's in. Like I said, it's the sort of thing that, if you're into it. Kortnee Krumin by Ted Neffe. This is actually a very good book. I enjoy this a lot. I have the first 2 or 3 volumes. I have to pick up the rest of them. I've never even heard of this. I'm glad this is here, so I'll probably pick that up. This is also by Ted Neffe and this person, Warren Wokinich. But, I enjoy Ted's work, so I'll probably be picking that up. Yeah, again, we're seeing a lot of, like you see this, Penguin, young readers, and you can see, well, this thing's it's a softcover, 32 pages, this 12.9 is a little expensive for what it is. And then we have another one, a hardcover, 6x9, 80 pages, only $10. So, okay, it's a character guide, so. Random House, some DC superhero books, Rebellion. This produces Judge Dredd. I never really got into Judge Dredd, but there were some of the other books from 2000 AD that I did get into, like Nemesis and Strong Team Dog. Red 5 Comics. These guys have been around for a while. They made most of their bones on the backs of Atomic Robo, and then Atomic Robo eventually ended up at IDW. I don't know exactly what happened between the two creators in this company, but they did leave. These guys have been producing books still. This book, Angela Della Morte, looks interesting, and Butcher Queen. They're still out there and they're still doing their thing, so good for them. You have Guar, which is an old, weird music band, performance band. Scream, Self-Made Hero. What's the name of this company? Oh, Scout. Okay. I was wondering why I looked. No. Last stop. Yeah, I mean, Scout, they put out some interesting books. Like Stabbity Bunny. Self-Made Hero, Silver Sprocket. Like this one might be. This one is a definite maybe on my list. I mean, it's maybe something I'll just give a shot on it, just order the first one, see what happens. Source Point Press. This one, the Boston Metaphysical Society, is probably something I'll pick up when it comes out in trade. And maybe even this one too, Gutter Magic. It's a lot of good or interesting looking fantasy series, so I always enjoy that sort of thing. Let's keep the art. Now we're coming to Titan Comics, Doctor Who. Blade Runner, Tank Girl, Bloodborne. It's a lot of interesting stuff, but not a lot of it to my taste. Although they have produced, I have actually purchased a lot of stuff. A lot of the Michael Moorcock books come out of them, and it's always been good. Toonhound, never heard of this. Looks like a new company. Metro graphic novel by Cullen Bunn. It's a maybe. I like Cullen's stuff when it's his own work. It's Tomorrows. They always produced really good books. I mean, and here's where, you know, I guess the world of indie comics is going for real. You see number 1, 32 pages, $6. Ginseng Roots, number 2, 32 pages, $5. I mean, it's unfortunate that, you know, it's just not enough of them are being sold. I guess Ray is getting a reboot. Dan Abnett is a really good writer, so there's a chance that this might be a really good series. And it has Juan Jose Rip as the artist. And I remember from way back in Avatar days, the guy's just gotten better and better over the years. I really enjoy stuff. Like crazy, hyper detailed type of stuff. I don't even think he inks anymore. He just does his pencils, and he just, you know, probably just takes him too long to ink this stuff. It's just too much detail. But you know, it's something when it comes out in trade, I might actually pick it up. But like I said, for the most part, I'm going to be stepping back, probably stepping away from Valiant, depending on who's, you know, producing, you know, who's writing. Like this one, Fallen World trade paperback, is by Dan Abnett, so maybe I'll give it a shot. So we'll see. And now we have Volt, Black Stars Above, Heist. Okay. You know, some interesting looking things here. Like I said, it's always cool to see what's going on in the indie market. And what's I find incredible is that this is just such a small portion, because if you were to look on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, there's probably another 150 projects, you know, you could look at, you know, just tons of stuff just constantly being produced by people, you know, and people having varying degrees of success doing them. It's just, you know, incredible how much independent comics are coming out now. I don't think there's any way anyone can keep up with all of it. It's just so much that's going on, you know. And this is Zenescope. They've been around for a while. These guys, they do what I like to refer to as women's adventure comics created by men for men. Although Zenescope does say they have a huge female following, which I have no doubt, because the books just look like fun. At first, they were like a lot of sexy cheesecake stuff, which they still do, but I don't think it's as prevalent now. I think they're just focusing more on the fantasy adventure aspect of the books. I mean, you know, they're just, you know, they're beautiful women doing awesome things. So, and then, you know, once in a while they have, I guess, not beautiful women like Zodiac. But they're out there and they're doing their thing, and now we're going into the manga section, which is not really something I go into. I mean, I am reading I do have one manga sitting up on my desk. I'm blanking on the name at the moment. It's actually based on a H.P. Lovecraft story, and it was produced by Dark Horse. And I've yet to even start reading it, so just sitting there. Oh, it's At the Mountains of Madness. That's what it is. I got the first volume. There's supposed to be a second volume that has yet to be released. So But yeah, but if you like manga, there's tons of it, you know. And then there's t-shirts and stuff, and that's pretty much it for now. So if you enjoy, you know, there's a lot of books. So we went through them all. Hopefully I won't blow up my budget this month. And even if I do, I don't think I'll care because I'm a degenerate when it comes down to these things. So thank you so much for listening. Subscribe, hit the like button, and I'll be seeing you soon. If you want to see some of my work, go check out the Oswald Chronicles or TallTalesOnline.com. Alright, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good one.